Hugh Hewitt, conservative radio host from The Hugh Hewitt Show. Both, of course, are regular MSNBC political analysts. So, Robert, everyone is going crazy, well, A, generally, B, today, over potential Trump selections for chief of staff, White House staff, national security positions, cabinet. What do you know about the process?
Trump has a tight-knit inner circle. This is a group that came out of the campaign, Brian, and it remains close to him. He's a lot like Bill Clinton in 1992 or Jimmy Carter in 1976, but even more of an outsider than those two presidents. Because what we're looking at with Trump is someone who has two majorities in Congress and will have to reach into different parts of the Republican Party. But at his core, it's a group that's close to him, that has earned his trust, and he sees as loyal.
Hugh Hewitt, you're not the incoming White House spokesman, but nonetheless, someone has given Donald Trump access to his phone again, and he has tweeted tonight, and we're going to lose half a news cycle arguing over whether the protesters are professionals on the streets of American cities. We have this as a guide. 2012, after the election, Donald Trump tweeted, "We can't let this happen. We should march on Washington and stop this travesty. Our nation is totally divided." One thing remains true. There are folks in the streets. Another, our nation's totally divided. What do you have to say about this start?
Well, he had a great day. I don't know why the tweet came at, because he had a great day. He had a great meeting with President Obama, gracious reception, gracious comments on both sides. I loved it when Speaker Ryan said they had a wonderful meeting on another news show tonight, explaining that they had synergy. Mitch McConnell said there's a lot to be done. The names that are being floated about, of course, the familiar ones, Christie, Giuliani, are very reassuring. The ones not so familiar, John Bolton at State, Jim Talent at Defense, very exciting to people. He's got 100 judgeships to fill, Brian, one on the Supreme Court, 99 in other federal courts. He's got a good team looking at that. I know that from talking to people today. So it's a very good day for Donald Trump, and I wonder, tweeting can actually help move an agenda, but it can also destroy momentum at the end of a day. I would ignore these protesters. Now, in 1976, when I was active in the Ford campaign and in college and lost, I did the old-fashioned thing. I drank a lot. And we didn't go out and protest when Gerald Ford lost narrowly to Jimmy Carter, although it was very disappointing. These will pass. I don't think Donald Trump should let them bother him too much. He had a good day. I hope he keeps the momentum going.
Robert, let's talk about the ability of a free press to cover candidates and cover the president-elect. It was unprecedented, was it not, that Trump was traveling on a plane separate from journalists, except for the rare journalist invited on board. And now today, just so people don't think this is whiny news media, though we're not above whining, unprecedented to not have a pool covering the president-elect, correct?
It is unprecedented, but what we're looking at with President-elect Trump is a candidate, now President-elect, who shatters all norms. These are not necessarily laws or rules for politicians, but they're things that journalists and many in the political community, perhaps the country, have come to accept as the way these kind of national figures operate. With Trump coming out of his own business career, being a public figure, a celebrity, he just does not think about these norms as things he necessarily needs to follow. I think what we're seeing with how he handles the press will be a part of the broader story of the Trump presidency. He does not care necessarily about the way things are and the way things are run.
Hugh, you're a radio man, so you know 30 seconds when you hear it, and I need 30 seconds. Does the learning curve seriously worry you when you hear, big league jobs and the like?
It does, only because he's the first president in modern times to arrive without a predecessor in his party with whom he is close. 43 could call 41. George Herbert Walker Bush could call Reagan. Clinton could look back and talk to Carter. Of course, Obama could call Clinton. And, in fact, JFK used to call Ike. And so I do, and Nixon could call Ike, and he also would talk with the old guard of his party like Barry Goldwater. Donald Trump arrives, his own man, getting there by intuition. I'm worried that he doesn't have anyone he can talk to as an equal on the phone.
All right. Hugh Hewitt, Robert Costa, our thanks to both of you gentlemen, as always. Thank you both so much. And look at who you can run into if you're out for a walk in the woods in Chappaqua, New York. Margot Gerster writes on Facebook today, quote, I heard a bit of rustling coming toward me, and as I stepped into the clearing, there she was, Hillary Clinton and Bill with their dogs doing exactly the same thing as I was. I got to hug her and talk to her and tell her that one of my most proudest moments was, as a mother, was taking Phoebe with me to vote for her. She hugged me and thanked me, and we exchanged some sweet pleasantries, and then I let them continue their walk. Now, I'm not one for signs, but I think I'll definitely take this one. Hillary Clinton, spotted on a walk through the woods in Chappaqua. The photo credit, by the way, former President Bill Clinton. Coming up after a break, a rich voice, a deep voice, has been silenced. A giant in the poetry of the last half century is gone. This is the 11th hour, only on MSNBC.